Put 2 paramedics on the truck. Hey, what stuff do you have right here? Probably. Mine's in there too. All right on the top. You could use one of you guys. You know that. Toolbox. There you go. Okay. I think I.
Okay, first of all, name?
Frank Marshall.
Frank, tell me what's going on here.
Montgomery County Hospital District EMS and Cypress Creek EMS are loading up right now to take 4 mobile intensive care units and support vehicles with supplies to staging area in Baton Rouge.
What's going to be done from that point, you know?
From that point, we're probably going to be deployed, hopefully as a group, into an area probably north of New Orleans, where they're going to be evacuating most of the people by air and then transporting them into Baton Rouge by ambulance.
What brought this on, a state activation? Or?
Yes, this was brought on by an activation through the Texas EMS department, working in conjunction with Louisiana.
Okay, what are y'all ready for? Do you know, or what you're looking at down there?
We're prepared for trauma. Hopefully that we're not going to see a lot of that. Mostly just transporting people from one area to a hospital and provide basic life support.
What have you heard from down there? Just see news reports or
reports that we were getting from people on the ground last night were that the situation was pretty bleak and pretty desperate.
What kind of time frame are you looking at staying down there?
We're prepared to stay anywhere from 3 to 7 days. We're taking a support vehicle with medical supplies to restock these 4 mobile intensive care units to make them self-sufficient for up to 7 days.
fences and our bars, and they will have water and they will have food. People say, why do they have water and food and other people don't have water and food who haven't committed crimes? And the answer is fairly simple. When we take custody of people and lawfully detain them, they gain certain constitutional rights that don't exist for those of us who aren't in the lawful, mandatory custody of the state. That responsibility is different than other responsibilities that the state has. I want you to know that working with the governor and others, what the Department of Corrections has done is mobilize people to move, help Acadian Ambulance move hundreds of people last night to the Meritage Center who had injuries but who couldn't be moved by ambulance. That we have churches we've contacted who have buses who the governor has dispatched to send to pick up people on the sides of the elevated interstates and get to shelters. We're working with balance to accomplish what the state needs to accomplish, and quietly and stably, and I can just assure you that we can't find what's been reported going on in Orleans Parish Prison. We moved 865 last night. Sheriff Gusman said this morning, this were on his numbers, there were over 3,000 left in the buildings, and we had 1,300 ready to move on the Broad Street overpass as we moved the buses in this morning. So that's about 5,100. We're going to take every one of them. We will, in conjunction with the City of New Orleans and the Sheriff's Office, we will empty that prison just like we did Jefferson. We have moved 2,100 out of the prison. We haven't moved them all and relocated them yet. And we think, about 3,000 left inside. Of course, that was a few hours ago. You know, we're walking and voting pretty fast.
Drive. Let me bring Secretary Mike Landon out from Wildlife and Fisheries to give his report.
Thank you, Governor. As Richard said, they're moving prisoners. Our task is to move civilians onto dry ground and safe ground. We just got reports lately. We have barges now that we're using to transport people from one side of the river to the other. So we're using barges, we're using ferries. We have barges and ferries that can accommodate as many as 400 people at a time. We're moving these people out of the low-lying areas onto high ground. We've made arrangements with the National Guard, with FEMA, to provide us transportation, provide us food and rations and water for these people so that we can get them to the next point of safety and then get them into a safe haven where they can have a lot more of the amenities that they've missed for the last 3 or 4 days. We're moving very strong, we're moving very hard, we're using every asset that we can. Right now we are in command of about 500 to 550 boats from sheriff departments, from civil defense people, from our Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, the Office of State Parks, DED, anybody who has a boat that has trained personnel to help us encounter this task are out there. We've had volunteers who have come and have asked to help us with this mission. These volunteers are just tremendous. We're asking our volunteers, and we need our volunteers, but we're not quite ready yet to deploy volunteers into some of these areas. We're asking volunteers that have boats, that have personal watercraft. We're going to need your help, but we need you to do something for us before we can engage you in these tasks. Right now, what we would like to do, if anybody has a boat that they would want to help and assist the department with, we need first to get some information from you. So we're asking you to call, and I think this number has been broadcast before, but it's 225-765-2706. Call that number. We have staff, I have a whole communication staff on board now that are taking these calls, asking specific questions about the type of watercraft that you do have, asking specific information about the ability that you have to assist in these particular rescue missions. But we need to get that information. The worst thing that we can do as a volunteer is to have you show up at the department before this preliminary interview has taken place. And we've had some very gracious people to offer everything that they have, but we need to get this information from you before we can deploy you into this mission. It's a very specific mission that we have out there. It's a very tedious mission, and in many cases a very dangerous mission. We need you. We're going to call you when we get that special need that we need from you. We know there's a lot of volunteers that want to be out there to help us. We are in the process now working with USGS to take all of the calls that are continually coming in about people that are stranded. We're putting these on maps. We're putting in grids. We're working with computers and formulas and mapping devices that we have to help us orchestrate the most effective and efficient way to bring people to safety. It's working. Earlier today we were talking about 3,000 people. We quit counting how many people that we're bringing to shore now. It's been a massive operation. It's been a coordinated operation with civil defense, with National Guard, with our friends from Texas. All of these people are helping us bring people to safety. We're going to continue this. Our people are still upbeat about the operation. We're not going to let up. We're going to move forward. We have even staff that's coming in to help feed and wash clothes and make sure that everybody's ready for the next day. Our Office of State Parks is going to meet at a certain location. We're going to be deploying them tomorrow with their trained personnel. They are post-certified people that know how to handle this situation. We're even going to use small boats as rafts to pull behind the other boats where we can't get a ferry in to bring these people. So we're deploying every piece of resource that we have to do this, and we're going to do it right, we're going to do it safe, and it's going to be a good operation, and we're proud of what's going on out there.
Okay. Let me get two more reports, and we'll get you those. We'll give you a chance to have more questions in a minute. We'll get you some more questions in.
While the governor's getting more reports, I've got some other things to do, so I'm going to extract myself and let the governor give the reports. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mike. And I want to say a special thank you to Mike, because without their help, none of this would be possible. I mean, we need all of the help that FEMA folks can give us, and we are working as a team. I want to call Gordon Nelson up, the Assistant Secretary of the Department of Transportation. Secretary Bradbury is en route, has been in the field, and he's not yet arrived. Gordon.
Thank you, Governor. Forgive me, I got a sore throat. So on DOTD right now, we have a contractor en route with a crane and sheet piles. Tomorrow morning, we're going to be driving sheet piles to block off the flow of water. And this is in conjunction with General Riley with the Corps of Engineers. And we're checking on the status of the sandbags right now to verify that they are putting them in place. We've been teaming up with everyone. DOT has been, we deadheaded 2 ferries from Baton Rouge yesterday to do the evacuation of those in St. Bernard, Plaquemines Parish, to bring them up the river and offload them. So there's been a lot of partnership, and we're hoping to solve that levee problem tomorrow and make some real forward progress. Thank you.
Thank you. And Colonel Mark Oxley of the State Police, is also en route. Please give us your report.